Okay, shalom. First and foremost, I want to start off by giving all your praise, honor, and glory. It's due to Yahweh, Hashem Yahweh Shai, Hashem Makakudas. And double honors to the elders, single honors to the apostles of the great millstone, and like-minded camps, in the same spirit, preaching and teaching this word of truth with sincerity as always. And without any further ado, I just want to get into this lesson. I tried to record this video outside, but the camera didn't catch it on my one of my crappy ass phones I have. Didn't process because it was sunny outside. It was pretty nice outside. And I wanted to do it outside, but Satan came through and said, "Nah, fuck your video, man. You ain't gonna do that today. You ain't gonna do it around where I'm watching." But that's how Satan works. But it is what it is. I gotta get Daniel the 7th chapter here. Daniel 7 verse 8. Actually 18. But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever. Forever and ever there means a long time. But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom. And yeah, guess what? Yahweh Shai is gonna take the kingdom. We ain't gonna ask. We ain't gonna. None of that. We're just gonna take the kingdom. And 2/3 of our people have an issue with that. I mentioned earlier when on the first take of this lesson here, this video here, of how basically mentioned in the first video of how you have Latinos, literally in the truth, you have Latinos worshiping a so-called black man, and that's an amazing thing, coming from a Western mind state that we were in. You have Latinos, you have Latino women, the northern tribes, praising the so-called black man, knowing that you're a guy and even with the Judah, the black man, black woman of the elect, serving their true power, knowing he is a black man, so-called black man, and that's a powerful thing. Daniel 7, once again in verse 18, but the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever. Come. It's not good enough for Jacob that we're gonna have a kingdom. The Lord has it in His mind to make every Israelite man, every Israelite woman rich beyond their wildest dreams, and that's what's gonna come. That's what's gonna happen. We're mentioning one video how could you value a chariot? With what amount of money can you value a chariot? A spaceship, a scout chariot. It could be a scout chariot. You can't put any price on that, and even with a small planet, let's say you got a small planet, you can't even value that. That's gonna be worth more than $1 million right there. That's going to be worth more than $1 billion. $1 million is six zeros. $1 billion is 9 zeros. A trillion is 12 zeros. And then you got a septillion. Septillion is 24 zeros. But a planet's worth way more than that. What the Lord's going to give us is beyond that amount of money. The bodies alone that we're gonna have is beyond any kind of amount of money. It's the body you'll have in the kingdom is gonna be worth more than whatever Abraham Rothschild's inheritance is today. That he's passed on to his children. Right, his wicked children, all that stuff. This is Daniel chapter 7, verse 18. Listen to this. But the saints of the Most High Yahweh shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever. That means forever, ever. And yeah, that's the kingdom. And I remember when I was young, I was around the age of 9, I think 4th grade or something. And I would pray to the Lord that I would ask him that if he may give me the power to not die. I basically would say, help me to live forever. I would pray to the Lord. Something I would ask for is to allow me to live forever. It's for my family, my mother, my father to live forever, because I knew that one day they would die. And I never really thought about that as a kid, about death. It's funny because that's a scripture in Ecclesiastes as well. It's better to think about death than a wise man think about the day of his death or something like that. Not just always about what you want to possess next. What's the next thing? Next dollar I can make. That's a weak mind, feeble mind state. It's a peasant mind state, really. Because Yahushua said, man shall not live off bread alone, but of every word of the Lord. And that's Solomon right there. His net worth would have been 100 trillion. But this is Isaiah 40. Especially because on this side, you got to get it from your enemy. This is Isaiah 40, verse 1. Comfort my people, says your power, Yahweh. To speak tenderly to Jerusalem, Yerushalayim, and proclaim to her that her hard service has been completed, that her sin has been paid for, that she has received from the Yahweh's hand double for all her sins. Comfort my people. That's the words of comforting right there. That you as an Israelite, even if you're wicked, you're going to come back. You're going to be rich beyond your wildest dreams. You'll be all good. We'll smile and hang out with you in the kingdom as the elect. Comfort my people, says your power. Speak tenderly to Yerushalayim, Jerusalem. Means people of peace. If you're not about peace, you're not a real Israelite, man. That's Esau's spirit for you. He's not about peace. He doesn't want peace. He wants to bring up some new argument to argue about some New pride he has about himself. He wants to be proud about. It's not an Israelite. As an Israelite, you gotta forgive your brother. If that's an offense that happened years back, I don't see how you could validate that upon your own mind. Say this brother ain't gonna make it. Whole time you don't know who that brother might be. He might have been a great prophet in the past life. You're trying to say he ain't gonna make it. That's not how this works. This is Isaiah 40 in verse 1. Comfort my people, says your power, Yahweh Bashmel Shah. And this is what Yahweh Bashmel Shah says. To speak tenderly to Jerusalem. Jerusalem means people of peace. Jacob was a man of peace, plain man dwelling in the tents. Whereas Esau loved to hunt, he loved blood, sacrificing his children, shit like that. It says, speak tenderly to Jerusalem and proclaim to her that her hard service has been completed, that her sin has been paid for, that she has received from the Yahweh's hand double for all her sins. Yeah, because the Lord has fucked us up. That's the thing about it too. The Lord has fucked us up. He's shoved his boot deep on our ass. Literally, metaphorically, whatever you like to say. The Lord shoved his foot up our ass, man. Through the curses, demonic attacks, demons you battle, you face demons telling you this brother's an agent, all the fucking time. Touching you, who knows, man, shit like that. Trying to make it look bad in front of brothers. Now they think bad about you. All types of shit. It says in verse 2, speak tenderly to Jerusalem to proclaim to her that her hard service has been completed, that her sin has been paid for, that she has received from the Yahweh's hand double for all her sins. And so our time of this punishment's damn near up. It's damn near up, man. It's damn near over. Because I know you brothers are tired of this fucking place, man. America, Babylon. And shit, I'm tired of this place, man. We're tired of this place. We want to get out of here. We know we have something better. We can't have a woman on this side, man. Which is, you gotta learn to be. I'm learning to accept that already. Fuck a woman. I know Yahweh Shai has plenty of women for me waiting for me in the kingdom. And then Malak, Wafka. And then right, the kingdom, the Malak Wafka. That's in Hebrew, English, and Spanish for you. That her hard service has been completed, that her sin has been paid for, that Yahweh Shai paid it. Yahweh Shai said, it's on my tab. That she has received from the Yahweh's hand double for all her sins. Yeah, because think about it, Yahweh Shai is going to forgive all his people, even the ones that put him on the cross. So who are you to not want to forgive a brother? Because you look cool, because you got some type of swag about you that brother don't got, that your aurora about you that the Lord blessed you with, that you got. No, it's from the Lord, and the Lord's just to forgive. You give your brother seven times. Especially if he's a man of the Lord. Still, I remember around saying, if that's a man of the Lord, he's still doing the work. He's calling upon the name. That's a brother right there. Automatically. Isaiah 40 in verse 3. A voice of one calling in the wilderness. Prepare the way for the Yahweh. Make straight in the desert a highway for our power. A voice of one calling in the wilderness. Prepare this was John the Baptist, Abba Bibbins. Once again, going into Abba Bibbins. Because we just mentioned Abba Bibbins, I got get these precepts here. This is in Isaiah 30 And I'm going to start in 22. Hey, Joseph had to forgive his brothers too, man. Joe, you think about Joseph. Joseph forgave his brothers, and if anything, he was the one who would have been validated in killing his brothers, man, but he didn't. He didn't. He said, Yahushua forgave Peter. He essentially gave Yahushua up. Basically, that was like, in a sense, him telling Yahushua, hey, fuck you, I want you to die. This is Isaiah 30, verse, he forgave him. This is Isaiah 30 and 20. Isaiah 30 and 20 here. It says, and though the Lord give you the bread of adversity and the water of affliction, yet shall not thy teachers be removed into a corner any more, but thine eyes shall see thy teachers, and thine ears shall hear a word behind thee, saying, this is the way, walk ye in it, when you turn to the right hand and when you turn to the left. Yeah, and I wouldn't say, I wish I had it all harder, or we have it harder. I wouldn't say that. I don't agree with that. I think we have it the same, and he got it the same. It's fair to say. So that was Isaiah 30, 20 to 22. And though the Lord give you the bread of adversity and the water of affliction, yet shall not thy teachers be removed into a corner any more, but thine eyes shall see thy teachers, and thine ears shall hear a word behind thee, saying, this is the way, walk ye in it, when you turn to the right hand and when you turn to the left. 22. You shall defile also the covering of thy graven images of silver, and thy ornament of molten images of gold. Thou shalt cast them away as a menstruous cloth. Thou shalt say unto it, get thee hence. And that's in the spirit how we're going to be in this truth with our wrong ass ways, filthy ways. But this is Isaiah 40, continuing on in verse 3. A voice of one crying in the wilderness, because there's some brothers that might not be forgiving another brother. Like there could be a brother in GMS that's not, looks down on the other brother that's not, because he's not in GMS. For an offense that's old as fuck, that's old as fuck already, and may not even want to forgive his little bro for that. I don't know. I don't get it. This is Isaiah 40 and verse 2. That her sin has been paid for, that she has received from the Yahweh's hands. It's just through the Spirit. I'm speaking through the Spirit. Isaiah 40 and 2, that her sin has been paid for, that she has received from the Yahweh's hand double for all her sins. And if I'm wrong about that, I could be wrong, but I have a reputation of guessing things in the Spirit correctly, and it's just true, or the thing comes to pass. It's Isaiah 40 and verse 2. And I'm going to just jump down to verse 3. A voice of one calling in the wilderness, prepare the way for the Yahweh, make straight in the desert a highway for our power. Come. In the wilderness, prepare the way for the Yahweh, make straight in the desert a highway for our power. That's going into this truth, this knowledge. That wilderness is here, America, because you think about wilderness, there's nothing there. You can't make a home in the wilderness. You can't. You can't build up in the wilderness like you can in the city with an actual house, and not a tent, but an actual house, actual temple. Isaiah 40 and verse 4. Every valley shall be raised up, every mountain and hill made low. You ain't going. Every valley shall be raised up, every mountain and hill made low. When you go into that, it serves as a metaphorical description of preparing a smooth, unobstructed path for the Lord's return, signifying that all obstacles, that's this rough journey we're in. America, signifying all obstacles, spiritual, emotional, or physical, will be removed. That's going to be removed. before Yahweh Shai returns, and right before he returns, through the prophecies being fulfilled, the elect, hopeful elect being made perfect. Isaiah 40:2, that her sin has been paid for, that she has received from the Lord's hand double for all her sins. A voice of one calling in the wilderness, prepare the way for the Yahweh. And that voice is also going into us right now. The way for the Yahweh, make straight in the desert a highway for our power. For every valley shall be raised up, every mountain and hill made low, and the rough ground shall become level, the rugged places a plain. 5. And the glory of the Yahweh will be revealed through his son Yahweh Shai, and all people will see it together. Everyone's going to see it. It says in the same book in Isaiah, a chapter earlier than this one. Every knee shall bow. Everyone's going to be serving Yahweh Ba'ashem Shai. And that's what these elites don't have. They wish they had that. They want to have that. They can't have that. And they can be mad about that, but it's too bad you can't have it. It's just the truth. It's just the facts. The Lord made you to be the bad guy that for his movie. This is his movie. Nothing else I can say. This is Isaiah 40 and verse 4. Every valley shall be raised up, and every mountain and hill made low, and the rough ground shall become level, the rugged places plain, and the glory of the Yahweh will be revealed, and all people will see it together, for the mouth of the Yahweh has spoken. For the mouth of Yahweh has spoken it, Con. For the mouth of Yahweh has spoken it, Con. And that what is his mouth? His mouth is via the prophets today. It's coming out of their literal mouth. And the elect sees it today. They see it right now. We can feel it. There's times you can breathe it in. That's how much we feel it. That was what I was meditating about when I woke up today. As I was sending up my prayers, I was meditating a lot about how, a lot of things the Lord got me out of, got me through. And ultimately as well, another thing meditating about was the kingdom. This kingdom, the kingdom. And that's something that keeps me going and makes me continue to want to do this thing, that because it shows how much Father actually does love us. It says in Malachi, when has thou loved us? You can feel in the spirit sometimes of, oh Lord, when have you loved us? Because you catch all that hell. Your brothers may look down on you. Then we got people in the road that already giving you hell. They looking down on you and shit like that. But so it's like then you look up to the Father. It's like, when have you loved us? It's like shit. You might not even want to give up the ghost. But counted, I mean, the Lord. So that's what how Shah went through on the cross. But it's like, no, we got the kingdom, man. You got. I remember one day, Spirit hit me, and I know it was Yahweh Shah speaking through spirit, through thoughts. I didn't hear his literal voice, but through thoughts alone. But I feel like I've heard Yahweh Shah voice. I feel like I know how Yahweh Shah looks, how his voice is, how his personality is already. But without like look at that. It's like it's like this girl, yo woman in jail, and she's never seen you or heard you speak, but you sending her letters, and she's already knowing you. That's how our love is unto Yahweh Shai. But I come Isaiah 40 verse 5, and the glory of the Yahweh will be revealed, and all people will see it together, for the mouth of Yahweh has spoken. And I'm doing I'm being part of that mouth right now, speaking it. It's being spoken. The mouth of Yahweh has spoken. 6, the voice cries out. And I said, what shall I cry? And what are we crying? We're crying that our people need salvation. Our people are bugged the fuck out. Our Jake needs saving. Jake hates himself. He hates his own people. The Pookie and Ray nigga from the hood and coming inside the corner store, they hate you. You can tell in their spirit they just want to say something mean about you. And then you just put your head down and keep walking. Shit that happens, but come on, man. We have what these elites are. Wish they've had. 6, a voice says, cry out. And I said, what shall I cry? Our people are like grass, and all their faithfulness is like the flowers of the field. People are weak, it's saying, basically. This is fading away. The 7, the grass withers and the flowers fall. The grass withers. Think about the grass. It passes away. The flowers, they end up passing away when spring comes, unless you live somewhere like in Israel, our ancient world, where it was never cold season. But even then, you had snow. It counts there being snow over there. But the grass withers and the flowers fall, because the breath of Yahweh blows on them. Surely the people are grass. Everyone is vain. It says in that book of Ecclesiastes that Yahweh was referencing that a lot in his time there at Solomon. He referencing that a lot. Vanity, always vanity. Meaningless. All of this is meaningless. I'm gonna go into that word meaningless. It means something like a smoke. In the Hebrew word is also smoke. Going into something that you can see and look at, but it really has no use. It just goes away. And then it leaves. It's meaningless. And America's gonna be a whole. That's why America's gonna be a whole bunch of smoke. It's like called in the scriptures a furnace. What does the furnace do? It smokes, burns a lot of whatever is in it, and the smoke goes up because America's meaningless. But it says right here in Isaiah 40, verse 7, the grass withers and the flowers fall because the breath of the Yahweh blows on them. Surely the people are grass. The grass withers and the flowers fall, but the word of the Yahweh, our power, endures forever. 9, you who bring good news to Zion. It says, but the word of Yahweh endures forever. That's what's contained in this book. What's inside of this book. All the prophecies, all the promises that are contained in this book, which is promised all the way in the beginning when you go into Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. It's already promised all the way back from that time that Israel's seed was going to be above all nations. And that's what you other nations don't understand. You're hating on us. You put us on the bottom. You wanted us gone and disappeared. But that's not what's going to happen. Because it's not the will of Yahweh. Isaiah 40:9. Oh, you who bring good news to Zion, go up on a high mountain. This is the good news once again. That Jake, you have a kingdom. You have a crown waiting for you. A whole kingdom waiting for you. Streets made of gold for you, waiting for you, all your people. As well as me myself. I'm a part of that. I'm count. You who bring good news to Zion, go up on a high mountain. You who bring good news to Jerusalem, lift up your voice with a shout. And that's we do that by going out on the street corners, the highways and byways, pushing His word. We're pushing His word. Lift it up. Do not be afraid. Say to the towns of Judah, hey, here is your God. Here is your power. Yahweh, Yahweh, Hashem, Yahweh Shai. See, the sovereign Yahweh comes with power, and He rules with a mighty arm. See, His reward is with Him, and His recompense accompanies Him. Because that recompense is the kingdom. So once again, going back to early in the morning, I was like, wow. I was just meditating on the kingdom, imagining the kingdom, seeing the kingdom, and the woman I'm gonna have. I already know what kind of woman I'm gonna have. Where I'm gonna want to go. How, the vibration I'm gonna want to be in the kingdom. And I can't not imagine that. I imagine that very thoroughly. I got an in-depth understanding of that. And Satan can come and you know, he's all pissed off because you have the truth. He doesn't want the truth in you. Like yesterday, me and the brother was out there in camp, and he can attest to what we both saw, witnessed a demon in this individual across the street. And I was a demon getting pissed off because me and the brother got this truth. You got this word. It's like that nagging, wicked ass woman that just wants you to pop her all day, and I grab the scriptures. Yeah, you tell that woman to get the fuck out, man. I gotta get into the scriptures, man. Yeah, so Khan is like, that's what this truth is likened unto. Isaiah 40 and verse 9. You who bring good news to Zion, go up on a high mountain. That's what we're doing. We're going up to the high mountain. That's the news. In the gates of the nobles. In the cities where these elites own, rule. Speaking these good news, the kingdom. The brother always mentions that. What's the good news when the Christian comes up? What's the good news? Then he goes to the gospel, the scripture in Isaiah. In a nutshell, it's all describing the kingdom and all its elements and elements it has about it. Go up on a high mountain, you who bring good news to Jerusalem, Yerushalayim. Lift up your voice with a shout. Lift it up. Do not be afraid. And yeah, we can't be afraid. Say to the towns of Judah, here is your power. 10. See, the sovereign Yahweh comes with power, and he rules with a mighty arm. See, his reward is with him, and his recompense accompanies him. The recompense is going to be our reward, and the reward for the wicked. 11. He tends his flock like a shepherd. He gathers the lambs in his arms. The shepherd is Yahweh Shai. The flock is going to be the remnants, the 1/3. And the elect, the 1/3 is the elect. Then you got the elect, the 144,000. Your brothers, the prophets, preach and teaching this word. And his recompense accompanies him. He tends his flock like a shepherd. He gathers the lambs in his arms, and he carries them close to his heart. He gently leads those that have young. 12. Who has measured the waters in the hollow of his hand, or with the breadth of his hand marked off the heavens? Who has held the dust of the earth in a basket? Now verse 12 on down. The rest of these verses or just going into Yahweh boasting on his power, explaining in detail, going into detail his power, giving you an idea of what he can do, and what he has done. God, who has measured the waters in the hollow of his hand, or with the breath of his hand marked off the heavens, who has held the dust of the earth in a basket, or weighed the mountains on the scales, and the hills in the balance. Who can fathom the spirit of Yahweh, or instruct the Yahweh as his counselor? Yeah, there's nothing that we have of knowledge that the Most High doesn't have, Yahweh. And same with Yahweh Shai, because he's basically the second to the Father, Yahweh. Yahweh. 14. Who did the Yahweh consort to enlighten him, and who taught him in the right way? Who has it? Who was it that taught him knowledge, or showed him the path of understanding? 15. Surely the nations are like a drop in the bucket; they are regarded as dust on the scales. He weighs. Now this is going into literally how all nations, even our nation, is like a dust scales. But we also use this to show how you other nations really you're compared to Israel. That's what you are. It's the book of Second Ezra. I think it's the third chapter. He's counting them as less than spittle, less than. Well, basically saying you're worth, you other nation, you're worth less than spit compared to my children. I remember growing up, and I had a cousin, and he would get into it. My older brother would get into it with him. And one time he said basically, because my father was getting on his ass for getting into it with my cousin the time we were younger, and basically what my brother said was, oh, he loves them more than him. But the Lord was like, nah, I love y'all more than them, and you're my sons. Something along the lines of that. He's basically, essentially. 50. Surely the nations are like a drop in a bucket. They are regarded as dust on the scales. He weighs the islands as though they were fine dust. Lebanon is not sufficient for altar fires, nor its animals enough for burnt offerings. Before him is basically describing how all that is nothing to the Lord. The finest, baddest bitch, that's nothing to the Father Yahweh. He doesn't need a woman. He doesn't need the finest dish you love. You cook for yourself. That's nothing to Yahweh. He's not amazed by that. He's not tempted by that. He doesn't care about that. That's what separates the higher power from the lower powers. He doesn't have to take orders. That's what separates the higher power from the lower powers. Isaiah chapter 40, continuing on in verse 16. Lebanon is not sufficient for altar fires, nor its animals enough for burnt offerings. And that's a cut to woman as well. That's a cut to a woman thinking the man is all catered to a woman. Guess what? There's the Father Yahweh himself who made you woman, who ain't even tempted at all by you woman. So that should humble you down and lower you below yourself. This is Isaiah 40 and verse 16. Lebanon is not sufficient for altar fires, nor its animals enough for burnt offerings. 17. Before him all nations are as nothing. They are regarded by him as worthless, less than nothing. Less than nothing. So what Father here is saying. Yahweh speaking. They are regarded by him as worthless and less than nothing. Khan. That's even included there in 17, the nation of Israel. But once again, we use this to describe as well, because if it works, it pertains to it. You other nations are nothing compared to the nation of Israel once again. And go read the book of Second Esdras. That's why Esau had such a hard on to wanting to take away the book of Esdras from the scriptures, along with the prayer of Manasseh, the Maccabees Khan. Because in the prayer of Manasseh is also a huge cut, because Manasseh mentions Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Before him all nations are as nothing, and they are regarded by him as worthless and less than nothing. 18. With whom then will you compare Yahweh? To what image will you liken him? You can't get Allah. You can't get Jesus Christ. You can't get Buddha or Ishtar or even Baphomet, Satan himself. There's a lot of Jakes who worship Baphomet and partake into the secret societal left-handed magic, sex magic, and shit like that. Sex magic is basically where you have that one woman that you might think is actually loyal, but then they pop her, and then because that's the closest in their minds. They do it because it's the closest thing to getting close to popping you. So if the man would pop that one, it's because, and then it's sex magic. You cast spells on you with his head and shit like that. 17. Before him all the nations are as nothing, they are regarded by him as worthless and less than nothing. With whom then will you compare Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai? To what image will you liken him? And you can't get Allah, you can't get fucking Buddha. They are nothing compared to Yahweh. There's no match there. 18. With whom then will you compare Yahweh? To what image will you liken him? As for an idol, a metal worker casts it, and a goldsmith overlays it with gold and fashions silver chains for it. It's them decking out their idols. Bel and the dragon as an example of that in the Apocrypha, once again, verse 20. A person too poor to present such an offering selects a wood that will not rot. They look for a skilled worker to set up an idol that will not topple. Do you not know? Have you not heard? Has it not been told you from the beginning? Have you not understood since the earth was founded? He sits enthroned above the circle of the earth, proving the earth is a circle once again. To those flat earth bug outs. Or bug outs thinking there's a hole in the middle of the earth as well. It's bugged out. It's not true. And this is continuing on. He sits enthroned above the circle of the earth, and its people are like grasshoppers. He stretches out the heavens like a canopy and spreads them out like a tent to live in. That's the universe, the earth, the world, the planets. Yahweh says in I think it's John 14:14. It says, "My father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I wouldn't have told you." So Yahweh ain't gonna lie. He brings princes to naught and reduces the rulers of this world to nothing. That's all the kings, even King David, King Solomon, all the righteous kings, to your most wicked kings, all in between. The Lord turned them to naught, made them turn to naught, because they somewhere they went off, and then they also still ended up dying. That's why in the kingdom we're not gonna die, which Once again, it would make sense why Yahweh Shah came and wrote the book Ecclesiastes, talking about is meaningless, all his vanity, because in Ecclesiastes, yeah, he said, it says, I've seen another wicked thing done under the sun. What should happen to a wicked man happens to a righteous. What the righteous have, the wicked don't have. And then he also mentioned, and this is vexing of my soul. He also mentions how I have all this wealth, but in the end I'll die. Who knows, the one that's going to come after me is going to be as just as worthy. It would make sense that Yahweh Shah was Adam, and that's a book of Ecclesiastes is a depressing book. It's a very Boyd type of book, meaningless type of book. When I'm meaningless, not Boyd, but that's a depressing ass book when you read it. It's a very dark book. I remember I remember still when I was 19 and first time reading the scriptures front to back, first time actually, and I tried to do it when I was 16, but I couldn't do it. So when I ended up coming back to the Lord, seeking Him, and still not fully in the truth yet because I didn't hear it. I remember read that book, and I read how it said meaningless, all is meaningless. It made me. I was like, is this really the Bible? Because that sounds in my mind. I was like, is this really the scriptures? Because this is a sad, real sad thing to add in the scriptures. I never heard a pastor bring out Ecclesiastes because they're about dancing and eating afterwards, and then eating again afterwards, but not getting out, not making your face sad. It's better to go to the house of mourning than the house of feasting. And hence why you fast, and it's good to fast as well. That's for another lesson as well. But Khan, he sits enthroned above the circle of the earth, and its people are like grasshoppers. He stretches out the heavens like a canopy and spreads them out like a tent to live in. 23. He brings princes to naught and reduces the rulers of this world to nothing. No sooner are they planted, no sooner are they sown, no sooner do they take root in the ground than he blows on them and they wither, and the whirlwind sweeps them away like chaff. So they're gone, they're died. But guess what? Adam, as Solomon came back, saw and experienced what wickedness was, how it felt to be in wickedness, and that basically, essentially, have the best. What King David said, man, in his best state is still altogether vanity. But then for him to have seen that side, but come back as Yahweh Shah and the next kingdom that suits. I mean, Yahweh Shah will live forever. He's not gonna see wickedness with righteousness here on the earth. He's not gonna have to see a wicked man have what the righteous man should have. A righteous man have what the wicked should have. 25. To whom will you compare me? Once again, the Lord saying it the second time. Who will you compare me to? Or who is my equal? Says the Holy One, Yahweh. Lift up your eyes and look to the heavens. Who created all these? Who brings out the starry host one by one and calls forth each one of them by name? It's the planets. Once again, the Lord knows every single planet. He has a name for every planet, just like Adam knew every creature. Because of his great power and mighty strength, not one of them is missing. Not one of them is missing. This is verse 27. Why do you complain, Jacob? Why do you say Israel? Why do you say Israel? My way is hidden from Yahweh. My cause is disregarded by my power. Because you can feel that way. You can feel like it says in Malachi, when hast thou loved us once again? Because you can be in a situation and you think the Lord ain't caring about your situation, like it's not relevant to him, like he's not really caring about that. But that's false. It says once again, why do you complain, Jacob? Why do you say Israel? My way is hidden from the Yahweh. My cause is disregarded by my power. Yeah, man, because the Lord knows. Well, the Lord knows what you're going through. He's put it there for a reason, for a purpose. The thing is, it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel. It's not an easy thing to go through, but Yahweh Shemel Shai has it there for a reason. The hell you catch, the hell you go through, whatever it may be. So to take the fat off of you. It's all heavy weight, dead weight that you're gonna have to. That the Lord knows that He's gonna have to take out of you before you make it to the kingdom, before you can enter the kingdom. And think about it as an investment. You're taking out this amount of money. Sometimes it's a lot of money to invest in this little program, little study class you have, so you can gain more in the end. And it might take a while, but yeah. So ultimately, that's with this truth. For fucking literal class, whatever, literal high school, college, and all that education and that can get you. This is spiritual, philosophical arts right here, prophetic arts right here that Yahweh Shai has made. This is 28. Do you not know? Have you not heard? The Lord Yahweh Ba'ashim Shai, everlasting power, the creator of the ends of the earth, he will not grow tired or weary, and his understanding no one can fathom. Yes, 29. He gives strength to the weary and increases the power of the weak. Yeah, that's going into, we always use this to go into spiritual power because it is going into that. But metaphorically, it's going into as well. You can use it to go into the basic spiritual powers we have, you could say. The basic spiritual powers we have right now is the faith. It's the faith. To increase your strength in this faith when you're weak. Because it says it increases the power of the weak. Even youths grow tired and weary, and young men stumble and fall. But those who hope in the Yahweh will renew their strength. They will roar on the wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not faint. Yep, and I'm going to close out with I'm going to get this first. Isaiah 40 marks a major shift in the book from judgment to comfort, proclaiming that God's exile punishment of Israel is over. Their sins are forgiven. And he is returning to save them, because you gotta remember, we are here to get judged. We are here, and I gotta remind myself that sometimes, because the brother may not say it. You gotta repeat these things to yourself. So I just repeat that to myself. Spirit does speak to myself in my head and tell myself just to remind me, we're, we're still here because we're getting judged, man. We're this is I think about all because all the shit I've been through. I remember. Then I applied scriptures once again with that. Deuteronomy 28. We disobey the Lord. We have to learn what is evil, what is wrong, so we can appreciate the Lord more. We just had it good, and it was just good for we was just perfect. Peaches and cream, cookies and cream. We would I don't think we would appreciate the Lord as much, because it would just be like, oh well, I was just born rich. I don't really know what being rich is. I'm just a rich man can't describe what a poor man is going through, because you ain't experienced that. You don't know what that position is like, and the poor man can't describe what a rich man is as well, because he hasn't experienced that. He's gonna be like, well, how the hell do I explain that? He is returning to save them. It highlights God's unrivaled power, the enduring nature of His word, and promises renewed strength to those who wait upon Him. Key themes and meanings in Isaiah 40: comfort and pardon, verse 1 to 2. God speaks tenderly to His people, announcing that their hard service exile. One of my top 5 scriptures. I think it's on the second. It's literally the second, my second favorite scriptures right there. In Ecclesiastes, it goes like, out of prison he cometh to reign, whereas he that is born in his kingdom becometh poor. Better is the young man that can something roughly paraphrasing than the old man that cannot, and is the rich poor man or something like that, they cannot receive correction anymore. Whereas he that is born in his kingdom, for who knows, he could have been in prison and he's coming out of prison to reign. Exile was finished and their iniquity is pardoned. So that's to them gangster, Pookie, and Ray Ray ass niggas that think they're the only hard ones, man. This is the hardest stuff right here. We're coming in. We're in prison right now. We're coming out about prison to put on gold chains. How about that? It says this preparation for Yahweh, verse 3 to 5. A voice later identified with John the Baptist caused to prepare the way, signaling that the power of Yahweh is coming to reveal His glory to all people. That was verse 3 to 5. I'll come back to that. The reliability of God's word, verse 6 to 8. Human life is temporary like fading grass, but God's promises are eternal and will certainly be fulfilled. God's sovereign power, verse 12 to 26. God is portrayed as the mighty creator who measures the heavens and the oceans. He is superior to nations and idols, even the nation of Israel, reinforcing that He is able to deliver His people. Strength for the weary, verse 27 to 31. That chapter concludes that with a promise that those who rely on, wait for the Lord, will find a new strength, allowing them to soar, run, and walk without fainting, even during difficult times. Essentially, Isaiah 40 moves the reader from the despair of judgment to hope, focusing on the comforting promises that God is sovereign, faithful to His covenant, and near to His people. God, because that's part of this truth. That's part of the truth. Part of the truth is the bitterness, the curses, and then the other part of it is the blessings of the kingdom. And ultimately, the kingdom is going into the good news. And it mentions in Deuteronomy, when you go go through these things, the curses and the blessings, then shall they remember their name, call upon me once again from distant lands, and that's in Deuteronomy. Fake Christians can't explain that, and they're not gonna go into that. They're not gonna go in depth into that. This is Isaiah 40. Okay, yeah, we finished that already. Slack here. 30 once again. I'm gonna have to grab that. I'm gonna get back there. This is Isaiah 30, verse 20. And know the Lord Yahweh Bashim give you the bread of adversity and the water of affliction, yet shall not thy teachers be removed into a corner anymore, but thine eyes shall see thy teachers. And that started with Abba Bibbins. Our man Abba Bibbins. It's our elder. But thine eyes shall see thy teachers, and thine ears shall hear a word behind thee, saying, This is the way, walk ye in it. When you turn to the right hand, and when you turn to the left. 22, ye shall defile also the covering of thy graven images. We read that one already. It's Jeremiah chapter 3, and this is verse 15. And I will give you pastors according to my heart, which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding. And it shall come to pass when ye basically, and which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding. And that's with those that taught us this word. That's Malachi 4, verse 5 to 6. Last two verses. Behold, I will send you Elijah, the prophet, before the coming of the great and dreadful day of Yahweh. And he shall turn the heart of the fathers to the children, and the heart of the children to their fathers. And that's the 1/3. The fathers are the prophets. And then our ultimate father is Yahweh Shai, and then our children are the 1/3. But 2/3 are that still haven't listened to their rebellion. They were coming against the word of this truth. Lest I come and smite the earth with a curse. So that's why the Lord's going to have to smite this earth with a curse. In this other translation, it says, He will bring fathers and children together again, otherwise I would have to come and destroy your country. And that country is America here, in the literal land of Israel. That's why both of those spots are going to have to be destroyed and then renewed. Basically, essentially, the Lord's saying, I don't give a fuck. You're gonna come back and understand and love these laws to begin with. And my people here who's been loving it, tasting and seeing the goodness of it, they're gonna be the memorial honorary governing heads. So with that, that's the point. Shalom and a bar, Lord willing, this edification. Shalom.